Let's focus on domestic abuse. You will find that these people try to control the other person, what they do, who are you doing it with, when are you coming back, where you're being beaten, you're suffering in the home some kind of physical abuse. They want to make the other party feel really, really inferior. They lose their power. Karibuni, welcome back. It's good to be here again. It's me, Vivian Bwana, and this is Shonamoyo, where we talk, share, and empower. Have you watched our previous episodes? Because you need to. It has been a series where we've been talking about trauma, and we're trying to figure out where exactly does trauma come from and what can cause trauma. Last week, we talked about childhood trauma, childhood abuse, and how that can cause trauma in a child, and how it can cause trauma even when you're an adult and it causes you to function well. Why are you able to think about your life? Why are you able to introspect and see some level or some kind of trauma that came from your childhood? If you did, then you need to seek help. And if you need the help, please reach out to us. We will be able to help you through our social media platforms. We can connect you to people who can help you walk this journey. And so today we are talking about domestic violence or domestic abuse and how it can actually cause trauma. Domestic abuse is considered abuse that comes from a home setting, from a partner, from someone you do life with together, a wife, a husband, a partner that you live with. That is what we consider domestic abuse that happens in a home setting, in a partnership kind of thing. And most of the time, domestic abuse can come from many things. And most of the time, it stems from the place of control, where we have one partner wanting to control the other person. How does that look like? They control in different ways. It's a struggle of power. They need to show that the other person is inferior and they are in control. They can be quite manipulative. They can be quite, it can cause manipulation. It can come from manipulation. It can come from even financial abuse. It can come from emotional abuse. It can come from physical abuse. Now, we will talk about emotional abuse in our next episode, because I feel like this is one of the things that we always take lightly because it doesn't feel like it has any physical effects. And so when someone says they're going through domestic violence and it's in the form of emotional abuse or verbal abuse, it doesn't feel as valid as somebody who has actually been punched and beaten and stabbed and mistreated, those kind of things. And so it's important for us to actually realize that is a factor and can happen even outside the domestic setting. So we will talk about that in our next episode. But today, let's focus on domestic abuse. So you will find that these people try to control the other person. In that sense, they might want to control in form of even what they do. They want to know, what are you doing? Who are you doing it with? When are you coming back? They want to be in charge. They want to rule. They want to be in control. And they want to always make the other part feel really, really inferior. And then they lose their power. And most of the time, even sometimes they use finances, for example. They can try and control how you use your finances. You may even be gaining some kind of money and they will take it away from you. Or they control how you use your money. They want to know, how did you spend it? What did you do with it? And most of the time, this kind of, and of course we have the physical abuse. Let me not let that one go away, where you're being beaten, you're being kicked. We've been asking ourselves so many times, you have that friend or you have that relative or person that and you're just like, can't they walk away? What is wrong with them? Can't they just walk away? But then it's not as easy as it seems, because they have developed a kind of bond and it becomes so hard for them to walk away. And especially when they start blaming themselves and see themselves as the problem, then it becomes even difficult for them to want to walk away. And by the way, let us not forget that there is actually emotional and verbal abuse in domestic violence. And most of the time, this is always overlooked because it doesn't feel as severe as, being punched, because it doesn't have any physical evidence that, oh my God, I've been emotionally abused and I look very nice and beautiful and you cannot see it. And so most of the time it's belittled. But we will talk about that in our next episode, because it's one of the things that really, really is overlooked, but it can cause some huge level of trauma. you're suffering in the home some kind of physical abuse. There's also sexual abuse that can contributes to domestic violence. Sexual abuse happens, by the way, even in marriages. And that's a concept that we need to understand, because most of the time it's always looked at, how can you be sexually abused in a marriage? Yes, it's possible to be sexually abused in your marriage. And so these are some of the factors that you need to look out for. Now, it is important for us as a people on the outside to be able to recognize what is happening with those whom we love. Again, characteristics of somebody who has experienced this kind of abuse is the way they behave. Sometimes they try to withdraw from people, and because their esteem has been affected, they will not even want to talk about it. Most of the time, they just want to keep quiet, and then most of the time, they look at themselves as the cause of the problem. So they look at their lives and they're like, it must be me. It must have been me who did something. And this is the thing. It makes you look like you are the one who has the issue. And so you make excuses for the person who's causing the abuse, for the perpetrator of the abuse. So what does that look like? I was beaten because I didn't warm the food. I was beaten because, I came in late. I was beaten because I didn't use the money the way I was supposed to use the money. And so you find excuses. I am the one who made him angry. I am the one who made her angry. It is my fault that this happened. And most of the time you realize people who experience this, because even how society receives it, they pull back. They don't want to share. We judge a lot as a community. We judge a lot and say, you're foolish to stay. You should have left. Oh my God, you should have seen the first red flag. And it's so easy to do that when you're on the other side. But when you're on the inside, you need to know that there's also something called trauma bonding, which happens when you've experienced so much trauma, and so you just are bonding with this person. And sometimes it becomes very hard to break out of it. But it is still important to break out of it. And that needs us as a people who surround this person to be able to know somebody very well, to be able to know there's something that is not right. There's something that is not right. Let us try and give support where we can. When they come and share and say, this is my experience, then we are able to say, oh my God, how can I support you? How can I help you? Sometimes we offer help and then it causes more trauma. It causes more abuse when they go back to that space. Or sometimes we offer help and then when they try to leave, they realize they're being attacked on the outside, and so they go back in because it feels like this has become a safe space for them. But we need to create safe spaces for those who are experiencing domestic violence so that they can know that they are supported, and it gives them strength to walk away. Now, there are some people who will choose to stay even though they are experiencing this same thing. And listen, either way, they still need to be supported. They still need to be supported because you don't know what they are experiencing in that marriage, in that relationship, in that home. You're not sure what they're experiencing. Let's offer support. Now, if you feel like what you are experiencing in your relationship is some form of domestic abuse, please reach out. If you are not sure, share with someone. Let them be able to tell you that is not okay. Share with someone you trust. Share with someone you consider a safe space. Now, we as a people need to be the people that can be trusted and the people that can be a safe space. Once you reach out, then it is important that you are connected to the right channels to help you through the process. There are safe homes that exist. There are people who have safe homes where people who have experienced domestic violence can be able to go to. There's a lot of support that is being given out there. Do not stand alone. As a society, let us learn how to support one another, even when the choices that they make don't feel like the choices that we would make. Still, find a way to let them know that you're still gonna be there for them. You're still gonna be there for them. Don't make them feel guilty. Don't make them feel foolish. Don't make them feel like what they're doing does not make sense. Again, we are here. If you need to talk to someone, if you're not sure what you're experiencing is domestic violence or not, please feel free to reach out to us through our DMs, Shonamoyo on Facebook, Shonamoyo on YouTube, Shonamoyo on Instagram. Please reach out to us and let us know how we can help you. We can connect you to a counselor. We can connect you to somebody who will be able to help you understand what is happening around you. So thank you for watching again. We will be back here next week, same time, same place, where we get to talk about emotional abuse and how that can cause trauma. Otherwise, have a good day. It's nice to have you back. See you next week. Kwaheri.